Welcome everyone to Tarot and the Moons. My name is Ingrid. Let's get started. So we have a full moon on May 31st, 2026. Sidereal astrologers are telling us this full moon is in the sign of Scorpio. And tropical astrologers, Western astrologers, are telling us this full moon is in the sign of Sagittarius. When it comes to the moons and our connection to the emotional frequencies, in my opinion, our emotions are swinging between these two archetypal points. Now, before we move on to the full moon influences, I wanted to invite everyone to check out my Rose Teacher Mentors course, which is Mandalas of Love Level 1. She is a rose alchemist, and her course begins on June. I think it's 18th. Don't quote me on that. I will leave a link of her description of this course on the description of this particular video, and you can go check it out. Some of you have received rose grid readings from me. If you're curious about that and where I learned it from, it's here. It's from Sandra Marie and her amazing course. This is a certification course. Again, I'll leave the link so you can read up on that. But yeah, I really encourage people to check it out. And here's why. My teacher doesn't do anything with tarot, so I'll put that up front. But here's why it's important for those of you that are following this channel for the perspective that I give with the tarot cards, right? So in tarot, you will see the Fool, and the Fool is holding usually a white rose. And the white rose is a reminder of how we are supposed to walk through life with this power of the purity of the heart open to the experiences. So the roses and the rose path is the path that the Fool is on. This is how the roses are intrinsically weaved into the archetypes of tarot and how I teach and share tarot. Okay, so I wanted to put that up front so you guys can understand where I'm coming from and the frequencies of the archetypes of tarot, and where I'm learning about the frequencies of the rose itself is from Sandra Marie. So again, I'll put a link on the description of this particular video, and I hope to see you there. All right, let's move on to the full moon. So again, during a full moon, it's an optimal time to wrap something up, complete something, release something, or allow something to be illuminated. In esoteric astrology, the moon is often viewed as a symbol of our emotional world. And in fact, the moon is often viewed as the ruler of our emotional world. As many of you know, this particular offering of tarot and the moons is all about our emotions. The moon represents our feelings, our instincts, our subconscious patterns, our memories, and the way that we seek comfort, safety, and emotional fulfillment. For me, it's really important as we are traversing all of these years to be able to regulate our emotions, because we are very much being manipulated through our emotional PowerPoint, right? So while the sun represents our conscious identity and purpose, the moon reflects our inner landscape, how we process our experience emotionally, and how we respond to life on this instinctive level. When a full moon occurs, the moon's symbolism, meaning our emotions, are amplified. Emotions are going to feel heightened. Hidden feelings are going to come to the surface. Matters that have been sort of percolating beneath our awareness is going to become illuminated. The full moon is traditionally seen as a time of revelations, and emotional clarity, right? So again, under a Vedic sidereal interpretation, this full moon is in Scorpio, and Scorpio carries a particularly powerful emotional intensity. And under the rulership of Scorpio under traditional Western understanding, it is ruled by Mars, but it is also under a more ancient interpretation ruled by Pluto. So Mars contributes to passion, which is determination, courage, and emotional drive, while Pluto is bringing themes of transformation, psychological depth, truth, and regeneration. And together, I think these planetary influences are really creating an atmosphere in which our emotions are seeking some sort of deeper engagement rather than a superficial one, right? So under a Scorpio full moon, individuals, we, us, you, me, may be feeling compelled to confront some sort of hidden fear, some sort of unresolved wound, some sort of deep desire or issue surrounding trust, intimacy, and yes, vulnerability. Our emotions are going to feel more profound. They're going to be penetrating. They're going to encourage some sort of self-examination, healing even. So under a Scorpio full moon influence, we're not going to be able to avoid a difficult feeling, a difficult emotional experience. Scorpio is going to invite us to move through this theme in search of transformation. Now, the word that came up during my meditation, every time I do this offering, I go into a deep meditation and I listen quietly to one word is what I'm asking my inner frequency to give me. And the word that came up was wise. And the concept of being wise during a Scorpio full moon influence, I think is tied to emotional honesty and self-awareness. Wisdom under Scorpio is not about having all of the answers, but it is about having the courage to face an uncomfortable truth, the courage to learn from the uncomfortable truth. Scorpio full moons is asking us to consider what emotional patterns no longer serve us, what truth is being hidden beneath the surface that needs to be excavated, right? What lessons is to be gained from this deeper reflection. In this context, that word wise emerges through some sort of resilience, some sort of willingness to transform pain into understanding. And to me, that's wisdom. That's wise. Being wise under Scorpio influence means you're going to look beyond appearances and you're going to recognize a deeper emotional reality that's working, right? Now, when we're looking at the Western tropical astrologers, they're telling us this full moon is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius expresses emotions in a very deep, and different tone, different emotional tone than that of a Scorpio. And Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, um, and Jupiter, by the way, is a planet of expansion, right? Of optimism, of higher learning, philosophy, wisdom, and this search for meaning, right? So while Scorpio is seeking some sort of truth through introspection, Sagittarius is seeking truth through some sort of exploration, sort of outer understanding, outer perspective. Under a Sagittarius full moon, our emotions might feel like they want to expand beyond the personal concerns and be connected to some sort of larger question about purpose, growth, and possibilities in our lives. There may be some sort of stronger desire for freedom because that's very much a Sagittarius trait. There's also going to be a strong desire, emotional desire for adventure, learning, a broader understanding of our life's experience. Our emotions can feel, perhaps under this Sagittarius full moon, a little bit more hopeful, inspiring, because it's very much future oriented and it's encouraging us individuals to look beyond our immediate circumstance and consider the bigger picture, right? So the idea of being wise under a Sagittarius full moon is connected to perspective. It's connected to a higher understanding. And it's not going to be found, wisdom, wise, is not going to be found through an emotional excavation, which is what Scorpio does, but it's going to be found through the ability to kind of step back and see how our experience is fitting into the larger story, right? So a Sagittarius full moon is going to ask us to consider what lessons can be learned from our experiences. How are challenges in our life contributing to our growth as an individual, right? And maybe even what truth can expand our understanding of ourselves and the world. So under a Sagittarius full moon, this influence of being wise means that we're going to stay open-minded. We're going to embrace learning. We're going to recognize that every emotional experience has the potential to reveal a greater truth to us. Both under a Scorpio full moon and a Sagittarius full moon, we're seeking the truth. That's the connection that I've made. We're seeking truth, but they approach truth in different ways, right? Scorpio, as I mentioned, with that influence of Mars and Pluto, is going to seek truth by traveling inward, exploring emotional depth and deep waters while it's uncovering what is hidden. Whereas Sagittarius, which is ruled by that Jupiter energy, is going to seek truth by looking outward, by expanding our awareness outward, by searching a bigger global meaning. So during a Scorpio full moon, wisdom is found through the emotional courage to transform who you are from the inside out, right? And during a Sagittarius full moon, wisdom is found through this perspective and understanding from the outside in. Together, these full moons, they're going to remind us that our emotional wisdom can arise from both this deeper feeling of our experiences and a larger lesson of those experiences going inward, right? This particular offering is about regulating our emotions. And for me, emotions are not stationary. The moon and its influence with our inner waters, our inner emotions, are fluctuating, in my opinion, between these archetypes of Scorpio and Sagittarius. Let's move on to the next slide where I'm going to speak a little bit about the tarot influences, the tarot archetypes that are influenced by Scorpio and Sagittarius. Hey everyone, before we move on to the next slide, please give me a thumbs up, send me an emoji, give me some commentary, something. This all takes a lot of work on my end, and I want to continue to give this to you, to do these offerings for you, but I'm not getting a lot of love in return. If you could help me out, that'd be awesome. And that way we can get more people involved in the conversation of these access points, right? Between the sidereal and the tropical astrologers, because I think there is a sweet spot in between. So yeah, take a moment and give me some love, and I'm sending that love right back at you. Now let's move on to the next slide. Thanks. So, before all of the astrologers out there start saying to me, no, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. I know that. But in esoteric astrology, they have Mars or the older ancient influence of Scorpio as Mars, right? So, and of course, Pluto is part of that. I want you to think, because this is a water element, I want you to think of Scorpio as the volcano underneath the waters, right? That is scorpionic. That is the energy of the planetary influences. Okay. So in the tarot, the Pluto energy, right? This Martian Pluto mixed energy rules the death card and judgment. So these two cards are the cards that are influenced by that scorpionic energy. Whenever we are dealing with the death archetype, I do have, this is the Arcancia Tarot deck, this is my deck. I have the word renew. It's part of this field. And it also is about spiritual transformation, new beginnings, letting go, endings, change, unexpected upheavals, endings, release, cleansing is part of that. On its more challenging side, it's about the inability to move forward. It's about this fear of letting go. It's about this fear of beginning. It's about repeating some sort of negative pattern, right? Then we have the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is about an awakening. It's about a renewal, a composure, a final reckoning, right? Forgiveness is part of this frequency. Um, and as you sow, so shall you reap. It is very karmic in that sense. All right, so if I am drawn to one of these two cards when I do your tarot and oracle readings, you know that it has a very scorpionic influence, okay? Let's put this, yeah, let's put that there. Now, speaking of Sagittarius, very simple, ruled by Scorpio, a Jupiter energy, planetary energy, and Jupiter also rules the Wheel of Fortune and Temperance. When we are dealing with the Wheel of Fortune, it is about destiny, it's about good luck, it's about chance, it's about decisive moments, the cycles of life, fate, right? Fortune. Um, yeah, that's the energy. On its more challenging side, it can be about bad luck, it can be about a disorder, some sort of external force, a lack of control is part of this, a disruption is part of this on its more challenging side. And then we have here temperance. Temperance is not only about harmony, but it's about balance, peace, patience, moderation, perspective, inner calm, tranquility, serenity is part of this scorpionic energy as well. I mean, temperance energy as well. On its more challenging side, this is about imbalance, self-indulgence, clashing um, with excesses, discord, antagonism comes into play here, right? Everything that is disharmonious is part of the more challenging frequency of the temperance card, all right? So if I gravitate toward one of these two cards, you will know that you have more of a Sagittarius influence with this full moon, thereby more of a Jupiterian planetary influence as well. I think I'm just going to keep going because I've already pre-shuffled the cards. Oh, and I'm using the Spiritual Awakening Tarot card, right? This is this energy of awakening that's coming from the Sagittarius influence. And then I'm using the Game of Thrones tarot because number one, I feel like universally and globally we are in a Game of Thrones situation, and number two, it felt very scorpionic to me, where we're going through these experiences, inner experiences, in order to excavate the truth, right? So as you know, I picked my tarot cards according to the influence of the moons, as I see it through both the lens of sidereal Vedic astrology and tropical Western astrology. All right. I'm going to use these cards just as identifiers. We're going to go around from Sagittarius and make our way through the wheel to Scorpio. And we're going to end in Scorpio. Again, I've already pre-shuffled the cards. Let's see what Sagittarius has. And Sagittarius, you've got the Chariot. So for me, this means lots of movement moving forward. What kind of movement? Well, the Chariot only goes out to quote unquote war, to defend, to uh, capture what's theirs. I do feel the energy of the Wheel of Fortune only because of this movement energy, right? The Wheel of Fortune has this energy of movement. So there's a lot of movement, external movement happening for those with Sagittarius. Not sure if there's a movement of jobs or a movement of home or what that is, but whatever this movement is, it will reflect your karmic expression, right? So it may or may not be a positive one. It just depends on how you've been sort of conducting yourself through this chariot, through this movement forward, right? So let's see what your influence is. And we've got the law of reception. Look beyond the illusion to the one truth. How funny, because we are speaking about truth, and this oracle is kind of telling you not to live in the space of illusion, to live more in the space of what's your truth. What's the truth of this particular situation, right? What's the truth that wants to come out from the movement, from the energies that are expressing themselves for you during this full moon period. All right. Next we have, let's put this here and here and move this. We have Capricorn energy, what's up for you? And we've got the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups sometimes is this energy of disappointment. Things are not turning out as you had wished. Things are not what you had desired, right? Things have just not panned out. I'm trying to make sure that all these cards are there so you could see what's going on. So this energy is kind of drawing me toward this beautiful temperance and card where it's like, okay, it hasn't panned out. There are spilled emotions here. It wasn't what you had desired would be the situation for you, Capricorns. However, you are being guided to allow temperance to come in. Whenever we see temperance, this is the angelic realms, right? There's nothing you can do about these broken glasses. There's nothing you can do about the spilled emotions. Absolutely nothing. But know that behind the scenes, right behind you, we have some sort of alchemy occurring. This is this temperance energy. In other words, this happened for a reason, for a purpose that you are not able to see right now, but it is a blessing in disguise. Let's see what your reading is. The law of non-attachment. Let go, release, and allow miracles. There you go. This is what I'm saying. This is a disappointment. These are spilled glasses, broken glasses here on the side, but there's something else happening. Let go of that. Let go of those emotions that are more negative and allow the alchemy to happen. And why did this happen, right? Remember what I said. This happened for a reason so that you can learn this lesson of non-attachment. We all have to learn this lesson of non-attachment in life. We cannot attach to things or people or even our emotions, right? The moon is all about that fluctuating water, right? So for you, something will be transpiring during this full moon period where you're going to be learning this lesson of non-attachment. Oh, I took this out before moving this, but here we go. And I don't do reverse readings, people. So here we have the Knight of Spears. And the Knight of Spears for me is, for you, Aquarius, I feel like there's a message here about learning something new. You might be sick of learning something new, but there is a message about looking at something from a different intellectual perspective than you have in the past. So for me, I am being drawn to this energy of the Death card because it's a renewed energy. It's a renewed engagement that you're being asked to sort of activate during this full moon period. That requires that you let go of the past, not because it doesn't serve, but I feel like it's because it's almost antiquated, like it's almost like rotting at its core, and we just have to let it go and move on with the new messaging, move on with the new idea that wants to come forward. And your oracle really reading is the law of relativity. You are divinely perfect. Live your truth. There you go, right? Like, let go of this other aspect that's not serving, that's kind of rotting at its core. Listen to your inner guidance. There is new information. You are divinely perfect. There is new information, but you're not living your truth. This is what this energy is. In order for you to live your truth, you got to let go of the stuff that truly doesn't serve. And letting go doesn't is it's not arduous, people. Letting go, part of it is being still enough to listen to the messages that are wanting to come through. All right. And next we have, and I am focusing on the sun, moon, or rising. I am focusing on the moon energy, but people have told me that the sun, moon, or rising is equally relevant. If you want to do that, look at it as a story. Okay. And next we have Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, and we have the Ace of Cups. There's a new emotional engagement here for you, Pisces. Woohoo! There might even be a new love, a new passion, something that's arising within you, and I feel like your luck is turning. I feel like it's moving towards something that's positive. It's moving towards a flow of abundance for you moving forward, and it's going to be activated during this full moon period from now until the next full moon. That's some nice reading, Pisces. Law of growth. Be steadfast in your faith and stay the course. That's it. There's something new here that's happening during this period of time where your love frequency, your heart frequency is actually expanding. And this is very Jupiterian, right? The growth aspect is very Jupiterian. So there's something that's expanding your world during this full moon period of time. Nice. Next we have Aries, sun, moon, or rising, and we've got this Queen of Cups. So this is a time for you to be a little bit reserved with your emotions. Allow harmony to take place. Allow the inner waters to be balanced from within. While, sorry about the mixing, moving the camera. While you are in the space of analyzing your own inner waters. Even though I gravitated towards Sagittarius, it does feel to me to be a little bit more introspective, right? Which is this energy of Scorpio. But there's some sort of alchemy that's happening while you are analyzing your inner waters. And your guidance is the law of correspondence. See life as the ultimate mirror guiding you to the highest version of yourself. And that's why you're going into Aries, this space of the inner waters, this space of analyzing who you are. The Queen of Cups is always paying attention to her emotions. So I feel like something new is arising for you, but the correspondence is, what are you feeling? How are you feeling? What aspect of your feeling nature is seeking to be activated and alchemized? Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, we've got for you the Eight of Swords. Sometimes we feel that we're tied up. Sometimes we feel that we are engaged in a situation that has us feeling stuck, but that's usually because we refuse to let go. We refuse to release something that for us is not allowing the growth and expansion. And Taurus, you tend to do that. You tend to be a little bit possessive or stubborn about things. And I want you to just release yourself from these mental chains and let go. So something's going to happen where you're going to be interfacing with letting go or choosing to be chained. And this is the law of creation. Focus your mind to create your deepest desire. There you go, right? This is all mind energy that has to be released. And you see the swords, they're kind of in the way of the person sitting behind, right? Which means the mind is doing too much of a chitter chatter. It's too unfocused, right? This is the energy, unfocused. If you want to create something and start anew, renew yourself, you've got to focus your mind. You've got to let go and clear the chatter from the headspace. You're going to have the opportunity to do so for this full moon engagement. Next, we have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And we've got the Queen of Coins. Gemini, you are all into changing your fortune for this full moon. You're all into becoming the queen of your queendomhood based on the riches, the money, the abundance that you created. So allow destiny to come in and bless you during this time period. Really beautiful. And this is the law of cause and effect. Change your beliefs, change your life. This abundance is happening because you worked hard. This abundance and good luck is happening because you dedicated yourself to making it happen. The law of cause and effect. Your cause is affecting this, which is the wheel of fortune coming your way. Ooh, really nice. Love that for you guys, for the Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising babies. Next, we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and we've got this Two of Spears. So this is all about you looking at the wider picture, you looking to the horizon, you looking at the world and seeing what you can contribute in the process. This doesn't feel to me to be this energy of passive energy. It feels very active to me, and that means that you have to start looking at the world with this energy of innocent eyes. Don't judge it from your perch, but be part of it and see what you can contribute to the world at large. And here we have the law of polarity. The moment that you judge anything as good or bad, you set the universe into motion. Guys, when I tell you I do not look at these, I swear to the world, like I do not look at these. The fact that that came up so directly for you not to judge, right? Not to be in the space of judgment means this is definitely going to be triggered for you for this particular full moon. So focus on looking at the whole world, including your own actions, through the eyes of innocence. Why? Because if you do, then you can reap these rewards that are coming your way, right? Nice. All right. Cancer, that was yours. Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Leo, we've got the Nine of Spears. So this energy of having to defend yourself is constantly coming up, right? Why do I have to defend myself? Why do I have to protect myself? Why? Stop. You don't. You need to live in the space of faith. You need to live in the space that you don't need to control every outcome. You don't need to control every situation. You don't need to defend yourself, right? This is a figment of your imagination. You need to activate the divine source within you to illuminate the path so that this sort of more challenging frequencies from the past don't affect your current situation, right? And that involves being in the space of divine illumination through your higher guides. This is an angelic force, right? The higher guides. Activate them rather than activating this energy of having to defend, because you don't. It's a choice. You choose. Defend or allow the alchemy to occur and be still when that alchemy happens. And you get the law of intention. This is the choice point, right? Give up complaining, right? Stop complaining about this. I got to defend. I got to do. And it's so funny because the minute I turned that around, that's kind of like what I heard. It was a lot of, I got to do this. I got to defend. Why do I have to, like that kind of energy. It's like, it's because you haven't set your intentions. And your intention has to lean more toward this energy of, I'm going to allow this to take root, right? Allow it to move out of my way so that this illuminated point activates. right? Really nice. And even this, like, she's looking toward the pyramid, which is the spiritual versus the business end of it, this energy behind her, the city, the landscape that's kind of like weighing her down. All right. Next, we have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What do we have here? The Four of Spears. So you're in this energy of happiness, joy, um, activations of family reunions or reunions with loved ones. It feels very secure. And because it feels very secure with your family or friends or something, or even with your marriage here, you are reaping the rewards of your destined path of love coming your way during this full moon period. This is really nice. My energy just felt super grounded with Virgo here. And we've got the law of truth. Love unconditionally and create healthy boundaries, right? That four energy is about boundaries. It is about setting forth a structure that is healthy. So for you, your intention seems to be this for this particular full moon period. Allow it to solidify, so get the blessings, and for you to see and hear the truth of the matter. And we've got Libra energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What do we have here? Ace of Swords. You're starting something new. There's a new investigation, a new idea. It's popping, baby. And you are moving forward with force. I feel like this is also a beautiful Wheel of Fortune energy for you, where you're making a decision to allow the intellect, to allow the introspection of the intellect to take hold of this new opportunity that's coming your way, and it's coming with a blessing. It's actually part of that fated path that you have. And we have the law of increase. You were born for greatness. There you go. That abundance is just flowing your way. This is the Ace of Swords, is the eighth ace of truth. So you've embraced a truth here, and you've done so fearlessly. And because you've done so fearlessly, there's an increase of wealth that's coming your way. Nice. That was for Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And last we have Scorpio. This is your moon according to sidereal Vedic astrologers. Let's see what you've got. And you've got the Two of Coins. You're balancing your health. You're balancing your emotions. You're balancing your finances. There's a lot of balancing happening from now until the new moon. And of course, you trigger balance, you trigger harmony. Let me just drink a little water here. So for you, this particular full moon is activating the power of balance, the power of letting go, the power of allowing things to sort of marinate and go into its natural up and down focus. But focus on, again, the angelic presence. Ask and you shall receive, right? Ask the angelic forces to help you balance and harmonize what needs to be balanced and harmonized during this full moon period. Let's see what your guidance is. The law of manifestation. Let go of trying to control life and allow miracles. This is this balancing point, right? Going up and down. Whenever we see temperance, this is about letting go. This is not about controlling. Temperance is about letting go. It's about releasing your ideas of what you think you need versus what the angelic realms are wanting you to receive and manifest. That's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the new moon coming up in a couple of weeks. Bye.